What Kitty Did Next, Chapter 1, Longbourn, January 1813. Matters matrimonial had long been the focus of Miss Catherine Bennet's world. How could it be otherwise? The absolute necessity of finding a husband, a respectable husband of course, but one whose chief recommendation must be his wealth, was the very cornerstone of her education. Her tutor and adviser in this winsome endeavour was none other than her indefatigable mother, Mrs. Bennet, a woman whose sole aim in life was to see her 5 daughters married, and married well. Catherine had accepted this doctrine, taking it as her own. Now, though, with 3 sisters all wed within half a year, mildly disturbing thoughts were forming in her 19-year-old mind. Those sisters had all 3 married for love. Catherine hoped, expected, to do likewise, but young and inexperienced as she was, even she had begun to see that love was an indefinable commodity, certainly not one that guaranteed a life without care. Inchoate questions clamoured for answers she did not have. What if she were not to find a suitable husband? Where would she live? What would she do? What would she like to do? Marriage and money, livings and love. What else was there for her to think about? Kitty's thoughts returned to her sisters. That Jane, the beauty of the family, with a character and disposition perfectly in harmony with her pleasing appearance, should be married to an amiable, handsome gentleman of good fortune was without question exactly as things should be. Kitty held Charles Bingley in high regard and was exceedingly ready to like and admire him. Not only was he in love with her eldest sister, but his personality was such to find pleasure in, or at least tolerate with benign countenance, the company of all his wife's family. Kitty was not in the least afraid of him. Elizabeth's husband was a different matter. Whilst unfailingly correct and polite, the taciturn Mr. Darcy was a figure of some awe to Kitty. In truth, she had been amazed when Lizzie had announced her betrothal, and still did not fully comprehend her sister's choice, although she was in no doubt that it was an excellent match. Who would argue against a man with 10,000 a year, especially one of sound body and mind? Certainly not Mrs. Bennet. Even so, to choose to spend one's life with a man such as Fitzwilliam Darcy, rich though he was, seemed to Kitty something of a sacrifice, although she had to own that Lizzie did not deem it one. With regards to George Wickham, Kitty scarce knew what to think. The circumstances of Lydia's hasty marriage to the dashing Captain Wickham, who with his red coat and easy manners cut such a debonair figure, were no longer discussed in the Bennet household, as if silence could eradicate the taint of scandal the elopement had occasioned. That suited Kitty very well. While not complicit in the couple's infamous plan, some censure had fallen on her, as she had been in correspondence with Lydia during her stay in Brighton, from whence she and Wickham had fled. The one to escape his debts, and the other to pursue an ideal of romantic love. Kitty pouted as she remembered her father's unspoken wrath. Long derided by him as one of the silliest girls in England, she feigned indifference, but felt aggrieved. She was not the only one to succumb to Captain Wickham's charms. Why, even Lizzie, her father's favourite, had enjoyed his company, and Lizzie could do no wrong in her father's eye. A petulant sigh escaped Kitty. It really wasn't fair.